So, hello guys. Today we're going to be talking about how I track my sheets and how I keep track on my trades and on a long enough time frame. Overall, all my stats, right? Win rate, uh, break evens, wins, losses, comments during the trade, screenshots, all of that, right? So I think that first of all, there's no good or wrong or good or right way to do it, right? It's overall to the people's need, right? If you need to track something specific, you may want to add it to the tracking sheet. Because myself, I bought multiple ways of tracking things, right? Of tracking the traits overall. I bought Excel sheets, programs, Google sheets, or like kind of like coding basis, right? This as well, mine is code based, but it's a bit simpler, right? So what I want to explain is like, for example, for me, what happened was I wanted to track something that was not on the sheet. So if I modify it, it affected overall the dashboard, all of that stuff, right? So for me, I've made it in a really simple way of tracking my data, right? Tracking overall all my stats. So let's jump right into my computer, and in here you can see that there's a couple of things. All right, a visual representation mostly because this is the dashboard, right? So you can see in here there's the win rate without break even, win rate with break even. I put this difference between the win rate without break even with break even, because in the break even, I want to see like 20% of my trades are break even, wins 35%, and losses 42%. So I can just, if I want to make a projection of a trade, basis or whatever, I can do with this. And then you got the money simulation and the percentage simulation, right? This is gonna come from the trading law, and this is really simple. You can see overall it's pretty much the same, but it just looks good overall. So in here, you can see there's different cell colors. So the ones in gray, they're programmed, right? You really don't have to do anything at all, right? There is just gonna calculate it automatically, and the ones that are in blank, you pretty much need to put it. Why? Because I didn't find another way to put the formula, right? It was just giving errors or something, so I just keep track in a, in a manual way. So in here you can see total trades, you can see the winning trades, losing trades, break-even trades, total account growth, uh, money return, current account balance from the simulation, because I'm running a simulation from the gains, right? I'm not tracking like I made, like $600. So that's equals to 6%. Not like I'm putting 6%, like 1% risk with 6 RR, 6%, right? So I'm putting that into a $10,000 simulation. That's why you seeing here 11,000, and here you can see this overall graph is with money over 12,000, right? So in here you have the most traded day. Of course, you got to put it. Max loss in a row, three. Max wins in a row. Daily correct bias, daily incorrect bias. Highest RR cut and lowest RR cut. For the bias, is overall how accurate it was on shorting or longing or putting longs into the market, right? Uh, then we're gonna pass to the trade log, right? So in here, uh, as well, in here you got this gray cells that are going to be showing that it's just marking up that this is automatic. You don't have to change anything. It's just going to calculate from the data you put in here and the data you put in here. So as well as the other thing, the gray cells are the ones you don't have to put anything, and the blank cells you got to put your overall data. So we're gonna start as starting day an hour. You got their end day an hour, the week, the month, the duration of the trade, long, short, entry type. Do I like it or not? I'm gonna explain a bit later why. Fits the plan, yeah. Uh, well, I was just doing that, but whatever. The percent of risk, the entry, stop loss, CP, expected RR. The expected RR is overall the ones you pretty much expected. from your entry, stop loss, and take profit, right? So it's gonna base from your entry and stop loss, the size, and that pretty much calculated between your TP, right? So it can calculate the RR, right? The exit and overall the ending RR. That it's the actual one you got from your trade from exiting that. So it's gonna calculate the same way as it was calculating the expected RR, but now with the actual exit, right? The exit in here. Then the top RR was if you got any loss, break even, or you know, I think you want to track, or you got out earlier. This is going to track it because you say, for example, you got break even, but the top RR was a logical 1 to 3, and I got too greedy, right? So if, for example, you're getting too many break evens, and you're seeing here a 4R, 5R, 4R, so you might as well just put like just getting now a 3R, right? So and you can see your stats changing because you can see the top RR was 3, and instead now of getting break evens, you're getting 1 to 3s, right? So that's about that. The optimal RR. So this is the RR you want to put from your EOD, right? From the markup you got from that day. If you got the same entry as your end of the day markup, that's really really good. You don't need to put the optimal RR. What I'm saying with this, you can delete this if you don't want to, but you can delete pretty much the things you don't want to, right? So the only thing you really don't have to delete is the starting ending date, the percentage risk entry, stop loss, take profit, and the exit, right? All the other ones you can pretty much delete it. But I would say just keep track of how I'm giving it to you, and see how this works, right? So as I was saying, the optimal R is from your markup from that day, and especially the markups are made for you to see how you wanted to get involved into the market this day, that day, whatever day you're marking up, right? So, for example, that day you got 3%, but it was overall or 3R. It was overall 15R. You can put the optimal RR was 15R, right? Then you got the percentage return that's gonna calculate based on your risk and your ending RR, right? Then it's gonna be the money return. That I put it like this because if you're managing multiple accounts, uh, what you want to do is pretty much just put the whole sum of the accounts of that day, right? So for example, if you got a 10,000 with True Forex funds and 10,000 with my Forex funds, and overall that day you got, say it was 4R, right? 4%. So you're gonna put 4%, and the other one somehow you got 4.2%, right? So you can see overall where I'm going. So you sum that up and you put it right into the money return. You got the win, loss, and break even. This is going to be calculated automatically. If for example you ended up, for example, in here, it ended up in 0.2%. It's going to be break even, or you can change this, right? If it was like, for example, in here 0.4%, you consider that a loss. It really depends on how you consider that a loss. If you're risking too little, it's really gonna depend, right? So you might as well just do it, just put it manually if you don't want to. And literally, what you can do is, you got all this formula, you delete that, and you put just loss. I'm just gonna automatically calculate that it's loss, so it's red overall. So this, for example, that was wrong. It was 0.4%. For me, was a break even, right? So I might as well just go on break even. In here, this was a loss. This was zero point 0.9, but you see where I'm going. Uh, then you have the simulation that is going to be based on your percent of return. This, why is it? I didn't put like this sum to everything in here because it's going to really depend on, for example, the account growth, right? The net return is going to depend, well, it's not going to depend. It's going to have a variation between the account growth. Why? Because, say, for example, you're risking from a $10,500 account, 1%, that's over $105. Instead of risking 1% of a $10,000, it's going to be $100. So if you're constantly, basing the 1% of your current balance, is gonna, be a little bit more exponential than linear. If you get what I'm saying, is gonna be different, right? So say for example you're starting at $100, uh, that's 1% risk of a 10,000, and you make 5%, right? So it's 500 now, and then you risk that 1% from a 10,500, it's going to be $105, and so on and so forward. So that's why I put the account growth, and overall the account growth is going to be pretty much in here, right? So you can see overall, it's a variation. I got the top was 21%, but it automatically calculate the actual one, right? And then the discipline rate, you're gonna put the good, bad, good, medium, or low, right? So you really want to calculate your discipline between that trade. You can even change it to 1 to 100, but I would say stick to this. It's really simple, right? Because say for example, like 1 to 100 or 1 to 10 is like, am I a 7 because I'm feeling like normal, or am I a 5 or whatever? This is gonna be really simple way to good, medium, low, right? Overall, then you got your screenshot from the from the trade, right? Screenshots 5 minute, screenshot 1 minute, screenshot the 1 minute. I didn't put the 1 minute optimal entry, right? So what you want to do is copy and paste the link in here, and you're gonna put from all these options, you're gonna put insert link, and here you're just gonna copy it. Right, I don't have anything, but say it's gonna be another one that I'm showing you pretty fast. You copy and you apply that. So it's gonna be there, and if you just click it, it's just gonna locate pretty much that link, go through that link. So you got the 5 minute, the 1 minute, and the 1 minute optimal entry. So in here, if you got different time frames at me, you want to put your time frame where you're looking at your, for example, for me, my POI, and the 1 minute where I'm looking at my entry, right? And the 1 minute optimal entry from whatever point it may be. You can really change this one for your time frame, right? For me, it's the 5 minute and the 1 minute. For you, can be the 1 hour and 5 minute, right? It really depends. Then the comments. In here, I put a last because if they're too long, and they're just gonna get a little bit messy if you just keep putting like this, right? You don't want to to put it like this as a wrap, because it's gonna not look as clean. But if you want to do it, go ahead. It's your Google Sheets. Um, then how, for example, in here, how do you change your entry type? So at the really right, you can see that you have pretty much, there's three options, right? So at the really right, you can see where they are, right? If you got more, you can add more, but I'm just gonna show you how to change them if you got any different set of entry types. So in here, you go to format, you go to, no, sorry, you go to data, and then you go to data validation, right? So this the data validation is from the range, right? So in here, what you want to do is from AM to, let's make it a bit simpler. So in here, you go in here, you go to data validation. What's the same? Well, uh, then you're going to, yeah, this is from the range, right? So you can locate where this drop down menus are. It's the G2 and G100, and you want to change that from the drop down from the range. You're going to change that from a different range. So for example, I got this three of them, right? But say I want to add more. So let's say, oh no, it's gonna be look awful. So say you want to change it to B, C, D, right? So from that, you're gonna modify this, and you're gonna put a different range. You're gonna leave that, and you want to put a different way, right? So you want to put this. You're gonna select the whole thing, and you're gonna press OK. So now you got all of this. You can change the colors, whatever, right? And then when it's going to do, it's, well, for now it's going to be looking like this. But now what you have is your entry types, right? The drop down menu for that. So you got A, B, C, D. So that's overall for that. It's the same for do I like it or not. You don't have to change that. Fits the plan or not, you don't have to change this. uh and the discipline rate, you don't really need to change that. The only thing you need to change are the entry types, right? It's pretty much this, right? And why do I add, why do pretty much I put do I like it or not? Because for me, what I've experienced myself, you can delete that if it's not, you don't identify the way I'm viewing the market or viewing overall the stats. But for me, it's like it can fit your criteria, it can fit how you're trading, all your pretty much mechanical structure. And sometimes you really don't like the trade overall. It had, the best setup, the setup fit all the criteria, uh, but you don't really like it, right? So you just say overall, I don't like it, but it fit the plan, right? If it doesn't fit the plan, you cannot, like, it doesn't fit the plan. You, of course, you don't have to change to trade it, but if it fits, you can put in here, of course. Yes, right. Do I like it? Not really, but fits the plan, so you're gonna review that as like why I didn't like it, right? Because if you have put so many hours, right, and so much time into this, your brain, what I've seen is just identifies patterns that you don't really recognize. But then when you're reviewing your trades, uh I'm going to do also a Notion video for the next video. But when you're reviewing your trades, you see like, now I see what I don't like it, right? So if you don't see that for yourself, you can delete this, go ahead. I really don't have any problem. Just, it's going to be your Google Sheets, right? Then you have overall your trade law, um, the daily bias, right? So for example, in here you're gonna put the dates. You can delete this if you don't want to track this. I'm not nothing against that, right? For me, it's just like that. So for example, you put the day, it's gonna automatically say which day is it, and it's gonna say Tuesday, long, short. You gotta put it. Say you got short, and you're gonna put correct or incorrect, right? So if you put correct, it's gonna turn green, and if you put incorrect, it's gonna turn red, right? Yeah, incorrect. Gonna show red. So in here, you of course this you don't have to change it, right? It's gonna be automatic. Week of the year, this is the same, right? Week of the year is gonna be identifying the first day of the week you put in here, right? So for example, for the next week, what you're gonna do is, for example, for me on Monday, I want to put the next one, but instead of going in here, because this is gonna identify exactly the same cell in here, you want to change it to uh from the cells. For example, is the A4. You're gonna change all these A4s to the for the Monday of the next week. So it changes the week, but it really identifies the what week is it from the year. Then you say long or short, same thing, correct or incorrect. The month, then we're going from week to month. Same thing. You put a short, range, long. Then the year is the same thing here. So yeah, that's about that. Then you have a couple of more. This, if you want to track the daily correct buys, you can track it like this. But overall, it's you can pretty much do the same as like today, the 17 Wednesday, same thing was short or long. So it was a range, so you can see overall the stats, right? Uh, I forgot to add the long. I'm just gonna add a bit later, but you get the idea. It's gonna be in the drop down here, and same thing for every single one of them. And for last, you got your risk of ruin. Okay, you have seen a quick cut, but I need to cut that out. So the as we were saying, the win rate, the risk calculator in here is not actual risk, but this is the risk of ruin calculator. What it calculates, like from your win rate, the amounts of losses you can take based on a trade by trade basis, right? So if you got, for example, in here, you can see win rate with I think it's in here, win rate with break even exactly. You can put 45%. You're really likely to get two losses, three losses, four losses, five losses, six, seven. A bit. You really don't have that probability. Still there, it's 50%. So I'm not saying you don't have the probability, but it keeps diminishing. 8%, and 9%, not really. 9.9%, like 10% probability. With a 50% win rate, you can see it's a different way. 9%, 9 losses in a row is 3.9% probability of that happening. 11, it's 1.9%. So what I'm saying here is what you need to be doing in here is putting your win rate in here overall. If you have, for example, a 43% win rate, you want to put in here 45, right? If it's a 42, you want to put a 40, right? So you got one to, you got 41, 42, you want to dump it down to 40%. If you got 43, 44, 45, of course you put it 45. 46, you still want to put it in the 45% range, or if it's 15, 16, whatever, you get the idea. And if it's, for example, 47, 48, 49, you're going to put 50%. You're going to round it, because if not, it's not going to find it from these values in here, right? I can make it even longer if I want it. But as of now, I'm just going to be doing it like this, right? It's just going to round it. So say you got the 56%, you're gonna add 55%. It's gonna find it, and then you can see overall your stats with break even and with win rate. I didn't put it here, but without break even, it's gonna be a little bit higher. So it's gonna be 60%. So you can see overall, it finds every single stat from 2, 3, and 11 trade basis on how probable it is for you to take that many losses, right? So this is about this. And what I want to show you is, because I know they're not really one pair traders, but they're also swing traders that trade multiple pairs. So I adapted another one. Just need to really add the most traded pair, and in the trade log, you have already added the pair you want to trade, and it's the same from the other sheet. In here is the same thing. You need to find from the data. From this, you're gonna go to data, and you're gonna go for data validation. This is the F2 to F15. If you want to make it longer, right, from F100, right, it's where the cell is going to be applied, right? But if you want it just to add it from here, it's going to be this. You go to drop down for a range. It's already done. It's already made. But you're gonna go to say I want to trade more pairs. I want to trade SAC USD. I want to trade odd USD and GBP JPY. JPY. So these are the pairs I want to trade. So now I'm gonna be selecting. You're gonna be deleting this range. You're gonna be selecting from this, right? Okay, now they're selected. You can change the colors and whatever, so it appears different in the drop down. And then you close this, and then you see they're given an error because they're not found, right? Now the trades are in here is SAG USD, AUD USD, and GBP JPY. And you can pretty much see how this works. And of course, the discipline rate, I put it hasn't been updating here. The discipline rate. Okay, the discipline rate is gonna be the same as in the normal one, the intraday. So I'm gonna be changing this. Don't worry. And overall, it's gonna be the dashboard a bit differently. It's just gonna be like the most traded pair is gonna be. She's gonna view it from all the trades from that. You can see the F2 from F100 and put it into what was the most traded pair, right? From the from the daily Why is it like that? Daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly bias, right? From here, if you want to do it for the swing traders, you can, but I would recommend that you do it for every single pair you trade so you can have the stats, right? But if you want to do it, it's just fine, right? And it's the same for everything, risk of ruin. So you can see I've adapted to that, those the swing traders and the intraday traders, right? As me, exactly. So, yeah, that would be it for this video. Hope you like it. Hope it helps pretty much. I'm gonna make another video about how do I keep track of everything in my Notion. It's gonna be a quick, well, not quick. It's gonna be quite long, but worthwhile. I've been updating for a couple of times to make it as simple as possible, and as as best as I could to actually do it. There's softwares out there that you can pretty much buy and whatever, but when you're starting, you don't have that much money, right? So she's gonna be doing that. Gonna be of course uploading a bit consistently in YouTube with tips or whatever. Do I think that it's gonna give value to people that not many traders are saying out there? They're just keeping to themselves. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you like it, and we'll see you on the next video.